I did it. I switched over. I did it.
I'm so excited.
Yay! Hello, everybody, and welcome to MangaPod. Woo! We are a weekly podcast in which we all get together after we read all or part of a manga, and then we discuss it with friendship, love, and lots of spoilers. I am Erin of HappiLeeErin, your host, and with me are two of my three lovely co-hosts, as well as a special guest. And before I let them introduce themselves, we have a certain announcement that we need to make about our lovely Yokurama. He had a family medical emergency, and because of that, he's going to be taking an extended hiatus from MangaPod. But we send him all of the love and all of the good thoughts, so go send him all of sorts of tweets and messages and let him know that you love him and that we love him and that you're thinking about him, because they need all of the good prayers and love they can get. So, with that note, Dodger, please introduce yourself.
Hello, everybody. I am Dodger of Happily Dodger. I love that joke. It's just really, it hits home for me. Anyway, I am so excited to talk about this manga. It was a great week, so
Aww.
It's going to be a good show.
Yeah.
And we've got Jimmy here.
Yeah.
But you don't get to meet Jimmy yet.
No. He's a fan.
What's up, ladies and gents? My name is Lou, and I'm from Sitting by the Window Anime Reviews. And ironically enough, the room I'm in has no windows. I moved after my name change, or after I set up my channel.
Aw, man. But it's still like kind of a reference to you, being the main character in your own anime called Life.
Yeah, that too.
You're the kid who sits by the window and looks up at the sky.
It's very much
Possibly has pink
expression.
hair. It's really hard to say.
I guess it's my turn
It's your
then?
turn.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
That's what we call a segue.
Hi. Hello. Nice to see you all. I'm Jimmy. My YouTube channel is NintendoFanFTW. And, yeah, I make videos sometimes. Follow me on Twitter, maybe. Cool. I hate everything. I hate everything I do. I don't know. I guess you'll like it, maybe. Subscribe.
Do you like MangaPod, Jimmy?
Yeah, dude.
I did. This is the one thing that I like.
Yay!
That I've ever been a part of.
Tinkle,
The
tinkle,
one
hoy,
thing.
my
Star.
friends.
The one thing.
Tinkle, tinkle, hoy.
Tinkle, tinkle, hoy. Yes.
I love how if you just put like different emphasis on different syllables in that phrase, it just sounds completely different. Like
Tinkle, tinkle, hoy.
tinkle, tinkle, hoy.
Tinkle, tinkle, hoy.
If you're wondering why we're saying tinkle, tinkle, hoy, you obviously didn't read the manga that we are discussing this week.
Yeah, we probably just sound like crazy people.
We're just saying
But
tinkle,
that's
tinkle.
not new for me.
Me
I
neither.
guess. So.
Yeah, me neither. If you've never joined us for a MangaPod before, what we like to do is give you a short, spoiler-free description of the manga that we read this week, which was Oyasumi Punpun, volumes 1 through 3, chapters 1 through 34. After we do that, we will give you our short, spoiler-free recommendations, whether we think you should spend time reading this manga or not. That way, if you do not want to be spoiled for our discussion, you can take your leave after we give our spoiler alert. Ooh. And then you can go read the manga, come back and watch this on my channel right here. The VOD will be going up immediately after the show ends. So, woo! Jimmy, would you like to read a spoiler-free description for us?
Absolutely. Oh, God. Okay, hold on. Oh, shit.
Sorry.
And really
Okay.
quick, before Jimmy goes into it, I want you to know that we only read up to chapters 34, so please do not post any spoilers in the comment section that goes past that, and also wait to post spoilers about the manga until we go into the spoiler section. So, Jimmy, take it away.
This is good. Punpun is an ordinary young boy growing up in Japan whose age of innocence has reached its end of reached its end after his father, that's an important word, is arrested for spousal abuse and putting his mother in the hospital. With his uncle looking after him, Punpun grows into adulthood, facing a series of events which change him for better or worse, forcing him to contemplate just what it means to be an adult.
Yeah! Awesome. Thank you, sir. Who would
I
like...
can't read. I can't read.
It's like a common theme. Like, we can all talk completely normal and totally fine, but the instant we have to read a description, something happens to us. Like,
it's just like school.
Just
like when you have to read out in front
Yeah.
of class. Yeah.
It's pretty good. Who would like to go first on the spoiler-free recommendation? Lou, hit it.
Me. All right. I'm not going to say anything beyond the fact that this is my new favorite manga. Done.
Ooh. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. I will say more than that, but I concur that this is one of my new favorite manga from what we've read. It's definitely up there in, I'm going to say top 5 because it goes around, but top 10 for sure. I have a lot of favorite mangas. But it is really fantastic and very surprising read for me. Like, I had expectations going into it because I had heard it was very good, but I didn't quite expect it to be as good as it was, especially with its imagery and its storytelling and just how dark it gets in a lot of parts as well. So I think it's a definite read, not just for people who like the seinen genre and are looking for something a little bit more mature. I think it's just one of the best coming of age stories in any medium and should definitely be read by, if you're a lover of stories in general, you just need to go and check it out for sure.
Yeah, man. Oh my God. Yeah. When Erin was saying that it like kind of caught her off guard, totally caught me off guard. I had no idea what to expect from this. The only thing I had ever seen was the little picture of Punpun, and I was like, all right, I know what this is gonna be. A little dumb slice of life romp. I'm in. And then it was like not even remotely that. It was like a completely different thing. Art is fantastic. The story is really great. I would totally agree that this is one of my new favorite manga ever. And I'm like so excited to read the rest of it. So,
Yep. Awesome.
In the top 3 manga I've read in my life, this is definitely in the top 3. I'll definitely say that. So I liked it. I liked it a lot. I think I'm gonna definitely finish it after we're done. So yeah.
Awesome.
I'm not gonna give as glowing a review as everyone else, mostly because, I mean, I won't know half the things I'm saying. But I agree. I agree with everything that was said. I really liked it. It was really good.
Awesome. So that is it for our spoiler-free recommendations. We all highly recommend that you go and read it, and we do think that you should read it without being spoiled on it. So we are going to give you a countdown of 5 seconds, and then we're going to jump into the spoilers. Are you ready?
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
God is God!
Tinkle, tinkle, hoy!
Tinkle, tinkle, hoy!
There were 3 different actual like gods in this.
Yeah.
So-
Poop God was also God.
Poop god,
God.
beak god, beak t-shirt god,
Big t-shirt, yeah.
but Afro god
Afro
was my
god.
favorite god.
I loved Afro God. I'm excited to see it because I feel like we're going to get to know more about Poop God in the future.
I hope so. That poor kid.
Yeah.
When his friend was like, "Do you still see God?" and he was like, "No." He like looks up to the sky and Poop God's like, "Hi." He's like,
He's
"No,
like,
I don't see Poop
I
God
see you,
anymore."
Poop God.
If anybody like stayed,
I know you
if
there.
anybody stayed and hasn't read the manga, there's gonna be like, why did you recommend
What?
this?
This
Yes.
is a really dark, intense story about coming of age, okay?
And
With
jizzing
Poop
out
Gods.
your
And the-
pee.
Yeah, and your brain melting and coming out your wiener.
Yeah.
I have a question before we get further. I want to ask. Usually, like, we don't usually have to ask this question because we tend to go over it in our spoiler for recommendations. But I did want to ask what your guys' expectations before reading the manga were. Did you guys have any?
I went into it blind. I didn't read a summary. I didn't do anything. I said, "Is it good?" And the most I got was people saying, "Yes, it's good." I didn't want to know anything, and I went into it, and I was blindsided. Like, oh yeah, spousal abuse. That happened.
Yeah, man.
This is totally a robber that broke in.
Totally.
And then from there, it was a ride.
Yeah. What about you, Jimmy? When we offered you to come on, you were like, "I want to read a really weird manga."
Yeah, I
Did
was
this
just
fit
like,
your needs?
find me the weirdest thing you can possibly find me. And then I saw the thread that said what I'm going to be reading, And I was like, oh, I'll click that. So I looked. I didn't read the synopsis, but I saw the picture. I was like, oh, little girl and her doll. That's so cute. And then I said, I'm gonna be on MangaPod. I'm super excited. I'm gonna be reading Oyasumi Punpun. And everyone was just like, oh my god. Oh my god, you're in for a ride. And I'm like, how? What? What? And I read it and I was just like, yeah, that was a ride that I don't want to end yet. So, yeah. That's my feelings on that.
It's good. Those some good feelings.
Yeah,
Really
like
nice feelings.
Aaron was reading it on you were reading it on your phone,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
In the hotel room. We were at PAC South, by the way.
Yeah.
And Aaron was reading it in bed, and I hadn't started it yet. And she was like, I don't want to spoil you on anything. I'm just going to show you the very first page. And it was like, you know, from the very first page, you see the stark contrast between extremely detailed shit and then poom poom. And she was like, it's so weird because this. And I was like, that's quite weird. So I expected something kind of surreal from the get-go. I did not in any way expect it to like touch on the things that it did, and in such a harsh, like real way, I guess, because every time something really big happened, I felt like the thoughts that were going on and the way that people reacted was so like astute. You know, the way that it played out in the manga and the way that it was drawn and the times when they tried to like kind of put you into Punpun's frame of mind, I was like, God, this feels so real. And you're like somebody drew you, right? Somebody like took a Sharpie and went, "Bruh," and that's your character. But like you're so real, right? It's
I wasn't
kind of blew my mind.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting. I'd seen the pictures of Punpun on Tumblr because there's one girl I follow who's obsessed with it, but she only really posted pictures of like Punpun.
Yeah.
And so I'd heard that it was weird and that it touched on like dark shit, but I was like, how deep and dark can it get when you have this as a main character? Like, how is that possible? And then it just got so real and raw, and the way that it was able to like with Punpun's emotions, especially as he, like, you could feel adolescence and just, like, that anxiety that comes along with, like, slowly learning who you are while also having this horrible family life happening. Like, the fact that they took a character who doesn't have, it's just a blank, like, paste and gave him emotions is incredible to me. Like, that was insane. It was insanity.
Yeah. I also liked that he didn't talk. Like everything was in boxes for him, you know, as almost as though like he's telling us a story and like everything that he says is just like words as part of this story, but everybody else is like living totally normal. It's I don't know, man. And like so quickly it got real. Like he's like, I'm going to go home. I want to be a baseball player. My dad loves baseball. And then all of a sudden, his dad is like, you stupid bitch, bring me another beer. And like, just fucking crazy shit's going on. And you're like, oh my God, holy shit. Like, it happens right from the get-go.
Right away.
It's super dark, but I think those panels might be some of, not my favorite parts of the story, but like the most interesting parts, I think. Because it's like two little like bird things. And it's just like, you bitch! In like all caps. And I'm just like, this is, oh wow, this is intense stuff.
Yeah.
So.
The way that they're able to add like even just putting a bunch of scribbles everywhere and like kind of just makes it feel so intense in that moment. You're just like, oh God.
You just feel every single like piece of emotion coming from, like you can feel the tense atmosphere happening in the scene. It took me, can I make a confession?
Yeah.
To drive away from the serious stuff. It took me forever to realize that those were the mom's boobs and not her hands.
Oh, me too!
I was about to say the same thing.
T-Rex?
I know. I was like, oh, she's just constantly walking around like this.
Yeah, and like specifically when she's in the hospital and they come to visit her and the uncle's like, come on, your son came all the way here to like talk to you. Why don't you say something to him? And it looked like her hands were just like resting on the bed while she looked out the window. And then I realized, like, a few chapters later, I was like, oh my God, those were her boobs just like laying on the bed with her. I was like, what? So funny.
I was so thrown off. Because, like, when, like, the scene when she's beaten up and she's laying, like, passed out on the ground, they're sticking, like, perfectly straight up. So I was like, oh, it's just another comedy effect. Because when, like, a lot of times in cartoons, when people get knocked out, they're, like, their arms and, like, go stiff. Yeah. Nope, they're boobs.
No, they were boobies.
They were boobies. But that's also, with the mom and the dad, it's very interesting how it's painted at first, like, the mom is being, like, is kind of the good guy, like, on the good side, but then as you realize later on that they're both incredibly dysfunctional and abusive, and just in different ways. And because at first I was like, why does Punpun hate his mom? I don't understand. And then you find out that's because she completely hates the fact that she had a child, and she's resentful of it.
Yeah, she, like, really resents having a child at all.
Yeah. And so it's
like,
what
it's like that sorry.
No, go ahead.
It's like that weird situation of feeling much closer to the parent who you know is, like, more violent, like emotionally feeling closer to that parent, but at the same time the other parent, like, could not give less of a shit about you. And it's like, what's the better option here? Like, what parent should I be attaching myself to and, like, trying to have a relationship with? It's it's so sad.
Yeah. And, like, it becomes it's not even just with Punpun's parents. It's like we slowly get tidbits of the other kids, and how every single one of them, for the most part, except for, like, Glasses Kid, who moves away.
And Poop Kid.
And Poop Kid.
Poop God Kid has a sweet mom. He's just getting bullied.
Yeah. Oh, I love Poop God Kid.
He's such a strange child.
But yeah, like, how every single one of those kids is dealing with, like, different abusive situations, and how they vary from one another, but they're all struggling through these same really heavy emotions that are just so real and raw, like we were saying.
Yeah. And I liked that we got a kind of a little... Sorry, I'm talking a lot.
No.
I liked that we got a little time skip, too.
Mm-hmm.
That it was like, oh, it's 2 years later now. Everybody's in middle school. And it's like, you can see how they got from point A to point B.
Yeah.
But, like, there are little differences, like what I was saying with Poop Kid. How he's like, I don't see Poop God anymore. But he totally sees Poop God.
He totally sees Poop God.
He's just learned that, like, the best way to not get beat up is to not talk about all the crazy shit he sees, right?
Yeah.
So...
Yeah. In the beginning, when Punpun's mom gets assaulted like that, I was initially like, oh, this poor lady, like, this dad is a dick. But then we find out that she's not so great either, so they're both pretty awful people. So, or whatever they are. Did they ever... Yeah?
You're sugarcoating it. She's a raging bitch.
That's true. Yeah, I didn't want to go too raw into that, but...
Okay.
Yeah.
Tinkle, tinkle, hoy. I jumped
Tinkle,
up.
tinkle, tinkle, hoy.
Somebody in
over.
Mr. Rhino Project in chat said, I don't think either parent was redeemable, but that's a harsh reality. It's a reality somewhere, somehow, which is the point. Which makes total sense. Like, it comes to the idea, I think a theme throughout the whole story is the people are cool / people are assholes kind of idea, where a lot of times we'll think, oh, that person's either good or bad, but this manga is like, no, everybody has different sides to them that are both like on the less happy side and on the happier side, like qualities.
And also just the reality that some kids don't have, like, that person who's on their side. Mm-hmm. You know, that person who they can totally depend on. Like, there are plenty of kids who don't have that at all, which is really sad.
Mm-hmm.
He's got the uncle, but the uncle keeps being like, I don't care about you.
Yeah. And then doing the whole there is no God, and just completely destroy. Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Like,
that was so sad.
So sad. Because that's like that was the one thing Punpun was holding on to. Like, Punpun that was the one constant that he had really up until that point. Because Uncle was in and out of the life. Like, the dad was in prison. The mom was in the hospital. Like, all he had was Tinkle Tinkle Hoy, and then, like, his uncle just stands there and shouts that there is no God, which is the one thing Punpun's been believing in, which is just seeing that, like, that little snap in him was really, really sad.
Yeah. I liked the the contrast. Speaking of the uncle, I liked when the little pictures at the end of each chapter of just like Poon Poon walking around doing a thing. It shifts to the uncle, which is interesting. I guess that means, well, I mean, in the last few chapters we read, it's very focused on the uncle's backstory. So I assume it'll be like that for a while. But I'm curious if future chapters will focus on other characters in Poon Poon's family and have that sort of like little picture. Because I guess it's like, I don't know. I thought it was really cool.
Yeah.
Speaking
that's what I like.
of where we or the later chapters that we read and the uncle's backstory, we did not pick a good place to stop.
No, we
No,
didn't.
we did not. I was
No,
like,
we did not.
I'm going to trust that since no one suggested we read any further, that this is going to resolve by the end of this chapter. And then at the end of the chapter, I was like, damn it, guys.
It was literally just like, you remember our promise? Boom, done. I was like,
Yeah.
come on.
Fine. Not bitter. It's fine.
I'm just gonna immediately go and read the next like 100 chapters after we're done. It's fine.
So do they ever? Oh, I'm hoping it eventually gets revealed. But I'm hoping I didn't miss them explain why Poon Poon and his family look like little dolls covered in sheets. Because like they never address it, but like I don't know, it seems like such a big detail.
Yeah, I think it's two things. Like one part of it I feel like is that it's an extreme form of the everyman, right?
Yeah.
It's like a really extreme way to be like, this could be anybody.
Yeah.
Like this could be any kid living, just trying to grow up and have a great life and, having all this shit happen. But then also the manga itself is super surreal anyway.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a way of making, with all the detail that goes into every page, it's a way of making him always stand out to us, which is kind of nice. Like you can always find Poon Poon.
Yeah.
Because he's
It's
just like
almost hard to
super
not
dark
find it.
outline and just hi.
Yeah.
Super
I
just like
saw-
white and like the rest of the night sky and then Poon Poon.
I saw someone in chat say that it's how he sees himself. Because it's like all this like real shit is going on, and you're just like, my pee-pee squirted my brain, and like that's his perception of life. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm taken from the chat there. They're very insightful.
Yeah,
So.
it's like when a kid is growing up and he doesn't have a steady like anybody there to kind of lead him and tell him what's up and like what's what. Like he's just very misguided and doesn't know everything about, like doesn't understand very much about the world. Has a very like what happens point of view, like, and just seeing something, not being able to think through what all of the possibilities could be or not knowing what exactly it is. So like when we see him masturbate for that first time, like the feelings of like guilt and everything that like pops up after him is like, because he doesn't know what he did, he doesn't understand, and so it's just the feeling of like being completely lost. It was just
I love
like
how
trying to
you
ask
broached
his
the
uncle
subject.
about it.
Yeah. It's just I have some medical books you can read.
Yeah.
It was like a really
And the
weird-
first time he sees the vagina and he just imagines it as
Oh
this
my god,
monster.
the vagina's walking was like when we were in the hotel and I was reading it. That was when I was like, this is really weird because I read that part. It was just like the entire panel of the vaginas with legs walking around. There was some like crazy stuff that happened. Some intense panels when like Poon Poon's panic became really obvious, especially like immediately after that. The way that the art depicted that was really interesting, with how just like the panels just got really fuzzy and muddled and just all sorts of stuff happening. Like you could just see his brain just like over too much happening, getting overwhelmed.
Just like overstimulate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want more. Now that we've had the time skip, I want more situations where he interacts with his family again. Because I liked that when he was younger, we got a couple of different instances of like something important going on and Poon Poon not really like registering it or understanding, like when his mom tried to commit suicide, right?
Yeah.
And they're in the taxi, and all he can think is like, oh gosh, maybe she's waiting for me, but maybe she's not. Like, maybe it doesn't matter, but at the same time I didn't want to go, but oh god, what if she meant it? She's actually going to try to kill me. And the whole time his uncle is like agonizing over what's happened, right? And he like Punpun doesn't entirely understand it or like get the gravity of it, you know? And I want us to see him having grown up a little, and even if he's detached himself from the family, I want to see him interact with the family again, I guess.
Yeah.
Even though his mom's just like drunk on the couch all the time.
Yeah.
Or pretending to be all like rich and stuff.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, I manage an apartment complex next town over.
Yeah. Just getting more and more dysfunctional.
Yeah.
I thought it was really funny that they have like a nice pose when they go and watch porn.
Oh my god, yes! The we do not understand thing. They're just like...
Yeah. And
speaking of porn, where they actually watched the porn.
Yes!
Yeah. I was going to
bring that up.
Yeah. That was... Yeah.
That was so real. That was, oh man, that was one of those moments where I was like, oh my god, this went from young boys watching porn to like heavy shit, you know? And all of the kids are like, what the fuck just happened? like so
we got pranked.
Yeah. Oh man. That guy.
Boobies.
But for real, that guy filmed that stuff like right when the panties were gonna come off. He planned that. He planned that shit.
Totally. He edited that right in.
Yeah, he knew.
I thought that was because again, that was sort of like in the beginning half, I guess, of what we read, right? That was sort of
that was very
so like
early.
I still wasn't sure exactly where the story was going at that point, I guess, and I was like, oh, is this gonna be a murder mystery?
Yeah.
It wasn't.
No, but I did like when we got. I guess it was like Punpun's life flashing before his eyes almost, and we saw some things that we hadn't seen before. I thought that was pretty.
Like when the family was happy.
Yeah, and buying the house.
I thought that was really sad. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the entire factory explosion scene came out of like I wasn't expecting that. I guess like it was not. I don't know, like you said, when the murder dude came up, I was like, oh, so they're going to go on, like, an adventure, and they're going to find this money and murderers and stuff like that. And then it leading into the explosion with the poop god kid, the booger kid.
Yeah. And, I thought he died.
I thought he died for sure.
I thought that it was going to be like, oh my god, that super delinquent friend, like inadvertently killed Poop God Kid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I was gonna be so sad. And then it turned out he was fine.
Yeah.
He was like, oh, whatever.
He's just like,
Poop God saved you.
And the shard of glass that goes through that kid's hat.
into Seki's hat.
Yeah.
That was terrifying.
That was so sad.
Was it the cigarette that caused the fire and the explosion?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I thought, yeah.
Because he like looks back and he sees that the cigarette has started like a small fire in the rug, right?
Yeah, something like that.
And then you're supposed to just kind of assume that that's where the fire came from.
Yeah. I really liked that part a lot because it also gave us more of an idea about Seki, the kid who has the drunk dad. And I really liked seeing, because when I started reading it, I didn't really expect us to go into characters other than Punpun and the main girl. What's her name? Aiko. Something. Let me see. I have it pulled up. Aiko. I didn't really expect us to go into other characters beyond them two and their relationship, so I really liked getting to find out more about Seki and what's in. I'm trying to think.
Poop Kid?
Yeah. Shimizu.
Call him Poop Kid.
Shimizu.
Poop Kid.
Is his real name. But learning about them and how, like, seeing their dynamic and, like, realizing, especially, like, because we see in their middle school years, too, that there's something else there and that they care about each other really deeply. And so seeing those two characters becoming developed, I really liked their scenes. Like, I didn't feel like they were being forced onto us and we were being forced, like, we need to care about these other characters. I never felt like when I was reading those scenes that I wish it was Punpun. I was like, yeah, why is this here? It's taking away from the rest. I was really engaged into those stories and those characters. And so I'm hoping that they stick around throughout the rest because I really, really liked them a lot more than I was expecting to because I wasn't even thinking they were going to be a big part of the story or get their own line. So it was really nice.
Yeah, even like as middle schoolers, like we saw those same kids, Seki and Poop Kid. Mm-hmm. We saw them like after the 2-year gap, and Seki is like maybe worse than ever.
Yeah.
which made me a little sad. I was like, oh, Seki,
because he even
like,
knows it. He's like aware of it. He's like,
I know. He's like, man, I am just rebellious as shit right now. And then he like goes out and beats the shit out of those kids who like took money from Poop Kid, and Poop Kid was like, I just wanted to make friends. And I'm just like, oh.
And then we also find out
it's all so real. Like
so
that happens
real
to kids.
Yeah, and we're also like that's where we find out that Seki is terrified of fire now, and so like there's that trauma that he had from when the fire happened because he probably blames himself for that happening.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I really liked seeing that and seeing the characters act their age considering their circumstances in a really realistic way and not like forced upon way. It doesn't feel when the characters are talking, like thinking or talking, it doesn't feel fake. It doesn't feel like this is something adults would be thinking or this is something adults would say. Like it feels much more like the right mind is happening there, the right age.
Mm-hmm.
I think part of that is because we're more or less seeing the story from Punpun's perspective, who is a child.
Yeah.
So he's not seeing any deeper motives. So I think that's why we're being presented it in that way.
Mm-hmm. Which is really good. Like to do that, for the mangaka to do that consistently is really impressive. Like to keep that tone from chapter to chapter and from time gap, like character to character, time, even with like the adults. When there's scenes with them alone, we're still seeing it very much as if it was from an adolescent, from a child's point of view. And so that's really impressive. That's really good story writing. And just that ability for a writer to do is really impressive.
When Punpun's by himself and he's sort of like becoming the victim, I guess, of his own mind, like he's just by himself with his own thoughts. And he's sort of like spiraling out of control, especially when he sees that maybe Aiko might be dating a dude that's not him. Mm-hmm. He's just like, oh my god, does she still like me? Is she still like me? Is she still like me? And like all these different ways of saying it. Mm-hmm. And I get that was sort of, I felt really bad for him because he's like, oh Punpun, just tinkle tinkle hoy.
And then God shows up and tells him to kill Batman.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I think
like you should kill him. You're gonna kill him. You should definitely kill him.
You're gonna kill him.
More than ever
Kill him.
did I feel like Afro God was kind of supposed to be this weird symbol of his like subconscious ego. Mm-hmm. You know, just like this weird, really instinctual form of himself that just always says whatever he deep down like wants to hear. You know, like. That whole part, the God face is just like following him around. Like you could kill him now, maybe now. You should probably just kill him. I mean, like getting's good, right? Yeah. It's like, oh god.
And like we see that shift in the God, which makes it more like it's his ego, in that we at the beginning the God comes out when Punpun has a need of like he needs somebody, like he has a wish, he's feeling upset, he has this wish, so he tinkle tinkle hoys, and the God appears to like bring him the comfort. Like the God's more of a comfort at the start. And then later on, he starts to become this, like, the subconscious voice of, like, what Punpun wants to do, but knows the guilt of, like, actually doing it. But he's like, oh, but if somebody's telling me it's okay, if God is saying it's okay, then maybe it is what I'm supposed to be doing. So it's just, that shift is also a very childlike growth there as well.
Yeah, I felt really bad during, like, the later parts when Afro God is just like, you're so like nice. You disgust me. I was just like, oh,
Like
Afro God, that's not nice. Afro God, leave Punpun alone.
Guys, can we all make Tinkle Tinkle Hoy shirts?
Oh my god!
Oh,
Just
yes.
say Tinkle Tinkle Hoy,
And
and then
then,
on
like-
the back they have Afro God.
Yes, on the back. There also needs to just be a shirt that's just like completely white with the outline of Punpun on the front of it.
That'd be amazing.
Want that.
Just the eyes and the little like
Yeah, the little
thing.
beak. Oh my
Yeah.
god, it'd be so good. People would be like, "What is that from?" And you get to tell them.
Just say
We should
Tinkle
read
Tinkle
it.
Hoy and you'll know.
Tinkle, tinkle,
You'll
hoy.
find out. Get all the
You'll
answers.
know.
Ask Afro God.
I wonder if you type Tinkle Tinkle Hoy if it just pops up. Tinkle Tinkle Hoy.
Tinkle.
Oh my god, there is a Tumblr called Fuck Yeah Punpun. And the title of it is Dear God, Tinkle Tinkle Hoy.
I like the one panel where Punpun's just like, is there any way for mom and dad to be nice to each other again? And just is like, dude, getting real tired of this question. Something else. How about that? Like, let's change it up for once. And it's,
Or like,
and,
can you help me? Can you help me peel this apple? And he's like, go ask your uncle. He's like, good idea. It's like, literally never helpful.
Not.
Yeah.
He's literally just there to like peek out creepily half the time.
Yeah.
And like, I guess you could see that like that is like a joke in the beginning because like he's dismissing like, come on, man, ask something else. But like then you realize like, oh yeah, he's been dealing with this for a while. When she's just like, I never wanted a kid. I should just be alone. And he's just like, oh, so he probably asks this like every day. So yeah, poor Punpun. That's just like this. That should be the synopsis of the whole thing. Just poor Punpun.
Poor Punpun.
Yeah,
Punpun's life is suffering.
Yeah.
Poor sweet Punpun.
Poor sweet Punpun. So we've kind of like briefly mentioned her, but let's talk about Aiko, the girl. We haven't really talked too much about her. Was she what you expected from when she was first introduced? Did she go where you expected her to?
She was.
I
she
liked that.
was a little unhinged, but I mean, given the environment that she grew up in, I'm not that surprised.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Though the constant threats of murder were a little jarring at first.
Yeah.
Just a
Then I
little.
got used. Just a little. Then I got used to them. Because I'll kill you later.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I took them as a joke in a sea of dark jokes, right? But yeah, I thought that was interesting. The correlation between her right off the bat being like, well, we're all gonna die, so eventually we're gonna have to like colonize other planets, So I figure I better do everything that I need to do by the time I'm 20 because there's a pretty high probability that we're all just gonna die. So I was like, damn. And then you find out that her mom is like a super cultist that tries to sell holy water to people. Yeah. And I was like, that's interesting. Like, are those beliefs that she personally has outside of her family? Or is that something that's been kind of ingrained in her as part of that religion? Or like, I don't know.
I think that's something that she's trying. Like, I think that's a part of who she is, but she's trying to reject it. And I think that shows more than anything is with how she reacted when she saw that her mom was visiting Punpun's house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, her reaction of, oh, I can't believe that you told me, that you lied to me, that you said you didn't live in this direction. I'm so embarrassed. So,
yeah, at first I didn't understand why she reacted that way, and then it clicked.
Yeah.
I was like, oh God, she's like really embarrassed of what's going on.
Yeah, and I think something with like Brooke, you were saying about how what she says about killing Punpun is a joke. A lot of people are talking about this in chat, and I also agree that like most people would be like, oh, she's just messing around, but Punpun focuses on that and just zones in on it, and it just becomes reality to him. And honestly, if you think about it, that's as far as I can remember, like I could be completely wrong, but like I think that's the only time she ever says that. Like she, like beyond Punpun's memories and like how warped those become, that's the only time she says that. And she never makes any sort of like threatening anything really after that. And so it becomes a thing is like, is Punpun's mind warping to believe that this is Aiko, how he's seeing her? Like, it's like how, bless you. It's like how if like something's completely innocent and then you hear like one bad thing about it, all of a sudden you're just become paranoid. You're like, oh, is everything they do like them threatening me? Is like, are they thinking about killing me now, or are they thinking about killing me? And it just becomes that paranoid thought process of just a circle unending infinity. And so that's an interesting thing too, that because of how like Punpun's lived up until that point where he's taken everything at like a lot of stuff has been at like face value too for him. It's like, oh well, she's obviously being serious. Like nobody jokes around in his life. And so when somebody says that, also having the parents that he has, like if somebody says that, obviously they're being serious. And so to see that still going on in his head in middle school too, just makes you realize how deep he took that.
Yeah, I think it's also tied into like his insecurity, right? Mm-hmm. Just like that fear of rejection.
Yeah.
Because specifically, I think because of his mom. Mm-hmm. So.
Yeah, in like the first part, I went to go back and check just to make sure I'm not crazy. He says that Punpun is like depressed that other girl is leaving the school, and then Aiko shows up, and when they were describing the other girl, they were showing like really weird stuff. So I was like, oh, I was almost expecting Aiko to be like sort of like sadistic and stuff like the other girl. And I was kind of getting that vibe when she was just like, I'll kill you. Because Punpun was taking it so seriously.
Yeah.
But, and I guess it's like, I don't know, I guess he gets attached to, like, people really quickly because it was like he was very depressed that the other girl left.
Yeah.
And then now Aiko's here. And then she leaves.
Aiko's way cuter. It's fine.
She doesn't look like a Titan.
Yeah, right?
The first girl totally looked like a Titan.
Yeah.
Oh my god, you guys. Somebody just tweeted at us. Hang on. I think it was Animaniac, yes. In chat said, he tweeted at us about, there's a Tinkle Tinkle Hoy shirt. And I'm retweeting it, and it's amazing. I can't post it in chat. But...
Is it the one that I linked in our Skype chat?
Oh, maybe. I can't see that. So it's possible.
Oh my god. I want
to see
this
this
shirt.
It is. It's the same shirt.
Oh my god, yes, it's amazing. I just retweeted it for everybody in chat who wants to go check it out.
I'm buying that.
But yeah, like with Aiko coming in, there's also the parallel. Oh my god, that is the cutest thing in the world.
Hi, Sherlock.
Aww. Mom. He even has his tongue out.
He's blepping?
He had his tongue out like...
How long was he there? Did he just jump up? I looked away.
He just jumped up.
Okay, good. Because I was like, he really blends in with it. I was like, oh god. So.
But yeah, no. With when Aiko comes in, like, because we start out with the one abusive girl leaving, or like really mean girl leaving, and then we have Aiko come in, and then we have that same parallel with after their friend with the glasses moves away, they have a new student come in, and instead, like, as she's introduced, you have Punpun screaming over her introduction about, like, how Aiko's gonna kill him. And so that was a very interesting parallel thing, too, that really stuck out to me. I was like, oh, they're gonna introduce this new character, girl, love rival. And then it was like, no, she doesn't even matter because that's
doesn't even show up on the radar.
Yeah, that's how focused he is on this one thing that Aiko said one time and how, like, obsessive his mind is becoming with that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I thought it was really touching. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I thought it was really touching when he gets the telescope, because it's like, it was such a cute little part, because he has a little present from his dad. And then his dad's just like, I won it at the slot. I mean, I found it.
Yeah. And how sad is it
come on.
when he finds the star and then his dad comes to him and to tell him that he's leaving to the country.
Like, Dad, I found a star, and his dad like hugs him and tells him he loves him, and he's just like.
And then that chapter ends with Punpun looking for the star again and noticing that it's disappeared. I was like,
yeah,
no.
I know. I'm so sad. I do like that. That his dad, like, over the past 2 years has continued to, like, write him every month.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I thought that was, like, a nice little element of him being like, you know, I really do love you. Like, I want to be your dad, you know?
Yeah.
One thing, though, about that is I like how like the dad is trying to keep that level of innocence, like, oh, I'm a test pilot for NASA, but Punpun knows that it's total bullshit at this point.
Yeah.
That shows that character growth that he's developing into at least some level of maturity where you can understand that that you can't take everything at face value.
Yeah. Like, something's up about Dad saying that to me, 'cause it's not. I don't think it's true.
Yeah, just some weird stuff about NASA, I guess.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, Dad.
I like space.
Space is nice.
Can we talk more about like how crazy good and detailed the art is?
Yes, I was just gonna say she touched on the
Yes.
art. Yeah.
Because it's so good.
So good.
And I feel like this idea could only work with this level of detail in it.
Yeah.
Where just everything in the world is so well done with so much detail. And then there's Punpun. Like,
Family.
it's so effective in that world, in that environment.
And something that really impressed me about the art was the way that the mangaka for certain scenes did would time lapse it. I remember there was one specific scene, like I mentioned, with when Punpun was like staring out his window and the god kind of peeked in and then peeked back out, and that was just one full page of like the frames. And then there was another time when after they did the time skip and they had that scene after Seki and Shimizu were walking home together after they like beat up those mean people for taking Poop Kid's money.
Yeah.
And so they had that scene of like the back of them two walking forward, and there was an old lady walking past them towards us. And then in the next panel, slowly we saw Aika and Yamaguchi, I think his name is, like her boyfriend, walking forward. And then we see Punpun. On the next page, we see Punpun watching them.
Yeah.
And I just thought that was incredible because just, it's so beautiful. It's like, it's not just like a style or part of the story. It's like legitimately art. Like it's something that like some manga will read and like, yeah, the art will be okay. Like this is something you look at and it's like, it's a masterpiece of art. Like, the art is telling the story so incredibly well and complimenting it while also just standing out as just beautiful and impressive. And so I just love those 2-page spreads and just, like, the time lapse of showing the characters, the actual motion of the characters, and also, while not just doing it for show while having purpose to it, I think is really, really good. I love it.
Yeah, I really like it in like any sort of media when you can feel like it's really hard for a lot of things to make you feel like you're in the room that it's taking place in. And I think that especially the way the houses were drawn, because I'm super like into dumb stuff like that. It's like,
Super into houses.
You're super into houses. But I like it when, I don't know, I just like looking at like a cozy little room, and it seemed really realistic. It wasn't it's probably not that hard to make a house, like an apartment, look like an apartment, but like making the reader feel like you're in the room and like experience how everyone else in the room is feeling. That's pretty hard, and I think it's definitely something that this manga does really well.
One thing that I really like about the art is the contrast in how the characters are drawn as they've aged within these two parts.
Yeah.
So, for example, just the older the character is shown, the more grittier, the darker that some of the shading is. So I feel like that ties into how jaded they've become over time and what that's telling about what the loss of innocence really means. It's that loss of purity that people are being tainted by the world as they prolong their experiences within it. And as those experiences compound, it just takes its toll. And I don't know, I just really like that contrast between whenever there was a small child and an adult on in a panel, it just looked great.
Yeah, and a lot of the adults looked very purposefully kind of mentally vacant too.
Yeah.
Like
the
they were
lawyer.
not there at all.
They never changed facial expressions the
Yeah.
entire time.
Yeah.
Oh, and the teacher.
The teacher.
The teacher.
Oh my
Batshit crazy.
god.
I'm just kidding.
Oh.
I'm gonna stab
Don't
your
do your
neck.
Yeah,
kidding.
I'm probably
Don't
gonna
do
kill you
your
later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's have a
You don't
test.
do your
I'm
homework,
just
death
kidding.
awaits you.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh my god, that huge breakdown about homework, and then the other kid being like, but Punpun did write his essay, and he's like, ah!
Oh my god.
That's
So
totally what happens in school though sometimes. Like everyone's had that teacher that flips out and I'm just like that's real. That teacher really gets intense about homework.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, the art is just so great. Everything is done with a purpose in this. And like the sky, the scene when all of the kids are walking back from the factory under the sky.
Holding hands.
So pretty.
Their last moment of true innocence.
Oh, it's so true.
What we thought was Poop Kid's final moments. But then he's alive.
It's there.
Yeah, he's fine.
It's fine.
It's like
Yeah.
whatever.
I'm ready.
Poop God saved him.
Neo Ace in the chat was talking about how there's the one moment at the end of the first part where Punpun compares himself to water and evaporating. And there's those pages of him just kind of floating through the air. Was that? I think that was at the end of the first part. I'm pretty sure. It was.
I think so.
It was.
I don't remember the water part, but
It's it's just when he becomes like all of those Punpuns and like he has the umbrella and he's like flying.
oh yeah.
Those parts. It was like these are really
Like, I
pretty.
feel like I might float away.
Yeah, like really pretty, but also really, really sad because he's in the same part in the spot in the gym when Aiko kissed him. And so it's just like, just seeing that, his heartbreak from when, and how much darker it got from that first kiss to like where he was then. And just, it's really like the final, just like a stamp on that part to be like, yeah, shit's getting real. Like, shit's real in this.
Yeah.
Well, we're coming up on an hour here, so does anybody have any other things they would like to talk about, or should we wrap up and give our final thoughts and ratings?
Oh, I got one thing, and that's that this manga is a part of the IndieGoGo and was requested by Hingle McCringleberry.
Yes, I forgot to mention that. Yes, this was requested. I'm so happy. that
I'm
it was
so glad you requested this.
Yes,
Oh my god.
thank
Hingle
you.
McCringleberry, you are now my new best friend.
Yes.
One for the awesome name, two for the great manga recommendation.
I was gonna say that is an incredible name. Oh my goodness.
I love it. I'm gonna put that in chat. I completely forgot about that. Yes, thank you, Lou, for mentioning that.
No problemo.
Yes. So who would like to go first with final thoughts and ratings? I know. I don't know. Number ratings
Guys.
always catch me up.
I want to give it a 10. I'm going to give it a 10.
Do it.
Look, screw it. Oyasumi Punpun, 10 out of 10. I thought it was so good. Like, where the art needed to be great, it was incredible. The way that the story was told was like so. We said it over and over and over again, but it was so real. Like, just the way that things were characterized, the way that things happened, and those moments when you felt really hopeful, but also the moments where you felt like there was no hope at all. Like, it was all planned out so well. And the pacing is incredible. It flies by. Like, all of us have said that we want to immediately read the rest of it when we're done. So, yeah, 10 out of 10. I love it so much. And I'm so glad that we got to read it. So thank you for suggesting it.
Yeah.
I agree. Definitely a 10 from me because I'm such a proficient reader of manga. But I did like it. I did like it a lot. I really like getting sucked into things, and it definitely felt like I got sucked into the world that was being portrayed for me. And you get used to how jarring Punpun is very quickly. I think that was the coolest part because it's just like, yeah, whatever. He's a little thing that you don't really know or ever find out, but you accept it. He's part of this world, and it's real. My favorite part were all the references to like sort of real things. Like a Poop Kid's like, I can Kamehameha, and
Yeah.
and he's just like, you can't. And then the uncle, they're driving to the hospital. He's just like, use a mushroom boost, and I'm like, I know Mario Kart. I played that game. I played that game one time or a few times. So yeah, I really liked it. I definitely want to go read the rest like right now. So
Awesome.
I want to give it a 10.
Do it.
It's my new favorite manga. I mean, what the hell did you expect? I let off that way, so yeah, no, to be consistent.
Yeah, if you
No,
said that
but-
it was your favorite
Yeah.
manga now and you didn't give it a 10, I would have been really disappointed.
Nah, it's great, and I'm looking forward to just immersing myself in this story. And I really hope that the next time we're reading all of it, because I'm
Yeah.
gonna have all of it read, and we'll probably talk about all of it.
Yeah. It's like we might as well just add the last like 100 chapters for the next time we decide to read this because we're going to all probably read it. Yeah, I give it a 10 as well. Like I think
Yay.
it is one of the, even having not finished it yet, what we read is one of the best examples of, like I said at the beginning, a coming of age story that I've seen or read in any sort of medium whatsoever. And I think it's all because of how wonderful and focused the storytelling is, how like the foreshadowing, the motifs, the realism, the just raw emotions, and how it takes something like this funny little Microsoft Paint character and gives it emotion, and it's just absolutely amazing. The art is beautiful and fantastic, and I think it is a piece of art that needs to be read by everybody. I think it's something that should be hailed as like a piece, like one of the best works of fiction that is coming out right now. And I think the mangaka did a fantastic job of telling the story that I think he set out to tell so far. Yeah, I'm going to give it a 10. It's absolutely amazing. And I think that there is some stuff that's like really hard to handle, but like really hard to stomach, but needs to be stomached because of how realistic it is, and that it's not just painting the stuff as being really pretty, it's painting it for what it is, which is really harsh and raw, and I think that's amazing and fantastic. So
Yeah.
10 out of 10. 10s all around. Tinkle
Yay.
bells.
Not everyone. You
Wait,
get a 10.
40
And you
points.
get a 10. And you
40
get a 10.
solid points.
Yokurama Punpun. 40 out of 10. Awesome.
Seems legit.
Well, that wraps up our discussion on Oyasumi Punpun. Thank you so much again to Hingle McCringleberry for requesting it for the IndieGoGo. We really, really appreciate it. I'm really grateful that you requested this one. Let's give the spoiler-free description for what we're reading next. And if anybody in the chat's going to guess it, you're probably wrong because we changed things.
I want to read it.
You read it.
He doesn't do well at school. He has no girlfriend, but he has never lost a fight. He's a typical high school delinquent, and his name is Blank. True, he has special powers, but he keeps them to himself. You see, he can read incidents and memories from the past when he touches people or things. Yes, he has blank powers. Ryoko Shima, an expert profiler, finds out about Blank's powers and puts an end to his ordinary life as a high school student. Persuaded by Shima's charm, Blank starts helping her investigations into an unsolved homicide. Further mysteries ensue.
Yay!
Anybody.
Yay!
Like, my laptop is really far away, so it was really hard to read that.
Just like,
You guys really should get this.
Yeah.
The reasons that will become obvious once we say what it
you
is.
guys really should guess it. But before waiting on people to guess it, we are pushing Vagabond back because that was Yokurama's birthday pick, so we're going to push it back to when he can go back and join us so that he can read that with us, because we know he was really looking forward to reading that one. So, yes, Sixco, got it. We are reading Psychometer EG, same thing that we were going to read. Was it last week? I think it was last week. Yeah, we we're going to read it last week. It was recommended and requested from the IndieGoGo by Alex, so I'm really excited that we're able to read it earlier than we were originally planning, because I think it got pushed back to April or the end of February, something like that. And
Yeah,
so,
it was going to replace Noblesse. Nuh-uh. Nuh-uh.
which means Hunter x Hunter will be getting moved back up, so there you go.
I should
All the
read
people who
that.
got really
I've
upset about
seen-
Hunter x Hunter.
Seen good things about that. That's something I'm
Hunter x
interested
Hunter's
in.
great.
So good. Yeah, you need to watch the anime, Jimmy. You'll love it. Oh, it's so good.
I know there's so many things. I've been recommended so many things.
There's only so many moments in the day.
I'm a busy man. I've got things.
And they have so much time. Give give our here, I'll go ahead and read just so that you guys do know what we are actually reading, because I don't remember off the top of my head how much of it we're reading. Oh, my computer goes.
I thought you meant like what the manga was, and I was like, Aaron.
We just went through that.
You did that.
Thanks, guys. We're reading volumes 1 through 3,
right?
Yes, volumes 1 through 3. So that is what we are reading next week. Let's go ahead and shout out our stuff super duper fast. I am Erin of HappiLeeErin. You're here on my channel, youtube.com/HappiLeeErin. I do anime reviews and anime first impressions, as well as mental health awareness videos, and all of the previous manga pods are here on my channel. I have my Kuroko no Basuke Season 3 first impression going up this week, and I'm hoping if I can everything falls into place correctly, that I'll have my Hunter x Hunter review, my review of Hunter x Hunter 2011 up this weekend or early next week. If you'd like to find me on any other social media site, I'm HappiLeeErin all across the everything. Come tweet at me and stuffs.
I'm Dodger. I have YouTube channels, 2 of them. The first one is youtube.com/pressstart-to-continue, where I do gaming and sometimes anime stuff, mostly anime-ish games. So it all fuses together. And youtube.com/dexterity-bonus, where I drink coffee and tell you how cool my cats are. I would love for you to subscribe in both of those places. And on all the social medias, I'm at DexBonus, DEXBONUS. Yay!
My name's Lou, and I'm from Sitting by the Window Anime Reviews. I have less channels than Dodger. I only have one. Not as fancy. I do anime-related content, mainly first impressions and reviews. Sometimes I rap, and sometimes I make awful AMVs, and I don't know. I'm very inconsistent. So it's always a surprise, which is why you should subscribe.
Yeah.
You never know what you're going to get.
Exactly. And I'm on Twitter, SBTW Anime Review. No S at the end.
Oh.
Jammy.
I'm Jimmy. My YouTube channel is youtube.com/NintendoFanFTW. And because I don't learn from my mistakes, I also have a second channel named PikaFanFTW. Yeah. I made that years ago. I've had that for 2 years, and I was like, I'm gonna make a new channel for, like gameplay fun stuff, because I mostly just do game reviews and top 10s and very scripted stuff. So I was like, I already got a channel that's linked to my current one for stuff. I'll just use that, and I'm immediately regretting it. Immediately. But yes.
Can I make up new acronyms for FTW?
Go ahead.
That's what I'm gonna.
I'm scared.
I've heard some pretty good ones.
No. I will tweet them to you later, which is why you should follow me on Twitter, and also follow Jimmy on Twitter.
Yes,
he's an interesting follow on Twitter.
Yes, it's a fun time following me on Twitter. So my Twitter is at NintendoFanFTW. That's my YouTube channel. All my social media stuff. It's all that, and then there's the gameplay channels, PikaFan. Just put up a video Friday, Legend of Korra. That's not an anime, but it takes a lot from it, so maybe you'll like that. I don't know.
Korra for the win.
Yeah. It's not on the show, it's on the game. And that was a train ride that I don't know how that ended. So you should go watch that. No spoilers from the show, so don't worry. So yeah, that's it. Thank you so much for having me on here.
Thank you so much for coming on.
Picked like the best manga to like start reading manga with, basically.
Yeah, dude, it's totally going downhill from here.
Yeah, it will never go up from here.
Oh.
We'll make sure that the next one is totally different.
Yeah.
Question mark. We'll bring you in on
the next
Yaoi one shot.
Yeah, one shot.
Yeah.
Oh. I just got back from MagFest, and some guy offered to sell me hentai, like a box set of hentai, and I was just like, I can't.
It's not that I don't want it, it's that I can't bring this on the train.
I literally can't. I had like a under 18 badge. They would not be able to sell that to me without getting in big trouble. So.
Oh my God,
4 more months, and then I can
and then you can buy all the hentai.
All the hentai box sets.
All the hentai I want. Hentai fan for the win. Third channel. Good.
Oh my God. Subscribe
I
to that
ruin
now.
everything for myself. I don't learn from my
mistakes. Just by putting FTW at the end.
No, fan FTW. at the
Fan.
end of
Oh,
it.
yeah.
Hentai fan.
Hentai
Hentai
fan.
fan.
FTW.
Top 10 hentais. Hentai, 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 hentai.
You get so many views.
It's not what I want to be known for.
You want to be known as the hentai fan for the win.
It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen now.
Oh, just
See-
grab it so you
grab
have it.
Yeah, just need it case.
Just in case.
Yeah.
Come on,
Thank
Jimmy.
you.
Having standards is overrated.
It's true.
That's true.
I threw mine out the window.
Yeah.
I
me too.
learned that.
Mine are gone.
You're-
They're gone.
They're
yeah.
never coming back. Yeah, there you go, MangaPod.
Family friendly as fuck.
Family friendly
Thanks for
as fuck.
watching.
Thank you all so much for watching. Jimmy, thank you so much for coming on. We loved having you. We'll definitely have to have you back for sure. Once again, everybody go and send all of your love to Yoku at Yoku. What is his Twitter? Yokurama Talks, I believe it is.
Yokurama Talks.
Yokurama Talks. Go send him all of the love in the world. Tell him that MangaPod is thinking about him and that you love him and his family. Once again, all of the links are in the description down below if you'd like to check out any of our stuff. Next week, we're going to be reading Psychometer EG, volumes 1 through 3, and we hope that you come and join us. We'll be here same time, same place, 7:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time next Tuesday night. Bye-bye!
Bye. Bye-bye.
Later.